What's going on, you guys? It's Justin back here with another video, and today we're going to be reviewing Hellfest. Alright, you guys, Hellfest is directed by Gregory Plotkin, and the summary of it is, on Halloween night, 3 young women with their respective boyfriends head to Hellfest, a ghoulish traveling carnival that features a labyrinth of ride, games, and mazes. They soon face a bloody night of terror when a mass serial killer turns the horror theme park into his own personal playground. So yeah, this movie was very, very, very interesting. I liked it a lot. For some reason, this movie gets a lot of hate. I don't know why. I give it a 7 out of 10. I thought it was decent. Had good kills. It had a lot of nods to Michael Myers, to me personally. Obviously, it had the killer stalking his prey and stuff like that. Very cool movie, and it had a bunch of fun characters. I mean, this movie, I would say, is probably for around the ages of 20, 19, 18, 17. Basically teenagers. But, yeah, we start out with 3 girls, and they're inside of a haunted house. And we have this one girl, I'm not too sure what her name was because they didn't say it. But, she sees this, like, masked guy, and she's like, oh, you know what, you're not scary at all. So this guy starts stalking him around the, haunted house. And eventually he gets the one girl that was, like, telling him off, alone. And, you know, he takes her out. So then we skip to present day, where we have 3 girls and 3 boys. So 3 girls with their respective boyfriends. They're going into Hellfest, and they start off at a bar. They're taking shots, you know. We get a point of view from the killer while he's walking into the park. And, you know, we never get, like, the killer's face or anything. We just see the back of his head. And after he walks into the park, he puts on a mask, which is actually the mask that all the other scare actors are wearing inside of the park. So the girl with the short hair, I believe her name was, let me see. I know I have it written down. I think her name was Taylor. But Taylor and her boyfriend, they go in a haunted house, and they take the zombie prop and they take like a pencil or something, and they ultimately give the prop a boner, what I thought was kind of funny. But yeah, continuing on from there, they keep going around, and the main character we follow, her name is Natalie, and she's really crushing on this guy. I don't believe I wrote his name down. Let me see. She's crushing on this one guy. I'm not too sure, but I'll put a picture of him right here. And, you know, he's crushing on her too. So he is actually the second kill of the movie. So, you know, they're getting good. You know, he's almost the second base. And he's trying to win her a stuffed animal, because that's what the other guys won, their girlfriends. So they are going to this place called the Deadlands, where it's like basically Halloween Horror Nights. The people could touch you and stuff like that. But he said he's going to meet up with them because he's going to get them. He's going to basically steal the girlfriend stuffed animal. Well, the killer catches up with them, and previously that girl, Natalie, and that boy she's crushing on, they took pictures, and the killer took the pictures. So he's like, all right, well, now I have you here, we are going to, you know, you're going to give me these pictures and stuff like that, and you're just going to let me go. Well, that's not at all what happens. So it's insane. The killer, he has this mallet in his hand, and he hits the boyfriend right in the throat right here. So, you know, he's gasping for air, and he hits him one more time. Then he knocks him down. And this is like the second kill in the movie. We get a head explosion. Like, he takes the hammer and he whacks it, and very, very, very crazy. And so after he is done killing Natalie's boyfriend, his name is Gavin, by the way, he takes his phone, and ultimately he takes the guy's finger. I believe he cuts it off so that he can get into it. And, you know, he takes his thumb and he opens up the phone. And, you know, Natalie's texting him. She's having a good time with this guy, and she's in the bathroom, right? So she's texting him, and she has a ding go off. And she's like, oh, well, maybe it's just somebody else in the bathroom, right? Well, she texts him again, and she has another ding. And all of a sudden you see this hand go over the bathroom stall, and it's the killer, and he's got her, and he's grabbing her hair and everything, but then we just go to a cutscene. So now she's running out, and she's basically like going to her friend saying, like, this guy tried to kill me, he's in the bathroom, he's stalking me. So they call the police, right? And the police says, you know what, you came here to be scared, can't arrest anybody for doing their job. So basically the police here are useful, because I can kind of see where they're coming from. You can't arrest anybody for doing their job, because they did sign a waiver saying that they could touch them. So yeah, very interesting. So then after the whole bathroom incident, they get onto this roller coaster, and that basically takes them into the Deadlands, which is pretty cool. It's like a two-seater, but of course Natalie's boyfriend isn't there, so she's doing the one-seater, and they're going through, everything's fine, and all of a sudden the ride shuts down, right? So there's like this red blinking light, and her friends basically get out of the thing. They basically ditch her, and the killer, he's standing at the very end, and this is where I say he seems like Michael Myers, because he just stands there and does the Michael Myers stare. He even does the head tilt at times like this. So yeah, he's very interesting. And what happens is once the killer like gets up to her, it cuts black. So then after that, you see the killer bringing her out into the place. He wasn't the killer at all. They wanted you to think he was the killer, because remember how I told you that the killer has the same mask on as the other people? Well, this was just an employee doing his job. So, excuse me, he brings her out, and there's a whole bunch of other people wearing that same mask. So they're like, oh my god, like, there's tons of these guys. How do we know where the real killer is? Well, the way she could determine it is because the real killer is wearing, like, steel-toe boots or something. So that's how she knows. I think all the other people were wearing, like, not Nikes and Adidas and stuff like that. So, yeah. After that, they have these people that they're basically kids. They look like Sam from Trick or Treat. They got these bags over their heads, and they both take them to these haunted houses, right? So I think they take the boys into like a dungeon or something, and then they take the girls into this kind of like best way to sum it up is End of House of a Thousand Corpses with Dr. Satan. That's basically what it was. The girls had Dr. Satan going after them, and the boys were stuck in a dungeon trying to find their way out. So then what happens in the girls' haunted house? It's like I said, the Dr. Satan kind of house. But then the girls get split up because, they have the actors in there grabbing them and everything. So Natalie, she's on her own now. And she goes into this room. It's kind of like the room from Saw. That's the best way to describe it. It has like the green hue and everything of it. And there's this two-way mirror. And, well, I don't even know if you call it a two-way mirror. Maybe a one-way mirror, because she could see the guy through it. So the guy's like staring at her, and she's staring back, and he starts pounding on it. And this is the killer. And all of a sudden, we get like a black cutscene. And we go to Taylor, which is the girl with the short hair, her boyfriend. His name is Asher, and he is the guy that's wearing like the red coat and stuff like that. But we go to him, and he finally encounters the killer. Now he's just thinking that the killer is, an actor. He's like, all right, man, you're doing your job. You're doing a good job. Like, you are going way too crazy on your job. And this killer, this is probably the nastiest kill scene to me. I mean, we've seen a girl gutted. We've seen a guy that has his head bashed in with a mallet. But this killer takes a needle that's literally like this long, and he shoves it right into Asher's eye. That was probably the nastiest kill I've seen in this whole movie. Very, very nasty. And now did somebody say Candyman 5 times? Because Tony Todd shows up in this movie, and of course Tony Todd plays the iconic Candyman. And we move on to the Deathlands, which we are in now. And all of the people are so this is basically all the people we have left now. We have Natalie, we have Brooke, which is her one friend, we have Taylor, and then we have Brooke's boyfriend. So Asher and Gavin, they're both dead. So now we're down to, what, 4 people? So, Tony Todd, he's basically playing this, like, mad carnival guy. And they do something, like, they call a sacrifice every year. And Taylor, you know, she's running around saying, like, these are my people. Because, you know, she's kind of like the goth person of the group. And, they do this guillotine thing where it's fake. But the crazy thing is that this guillotine person is actually the killer. So, I don't know. This is why I say he's like Michael Myers, because he's getting from one place to another real fast. But, he basically takes the cloak of the guillotine guy and he puts it on so that he could be the guillotine guy. And it's a fake blade, but he replaces it with a real blade. And after she's done with the fake blade getting dropped on her, he puts a real blade on and he straps her down and he lets it go, and it, like, gets stuck in the back of her neck. So, fortunately for her, she gets away, right? So, as she's running away, she's trying to find help. Obviously, we've already established the police are no help here. They're basically trying to kick the people out because they're trying to be a disturbance to the park. When these police don't listen to anybody, there's obviously a killer on the loose. So, now we are only down to 2 people because the killer takes out Taylor and Brooke's boyfriend. So now we are just down to Brooke and Natalie. So it's very, very hectic. So what happens from to now is Brooke and Natalie, they're running from this guy, and they ultimately end up in the place they came into, the Deadlands, this big haunted house. They remember where the entrance was so they can get out, and they go, and the entrance is closed. It's like those castle doors where it's like wooden and it's just done. Like, they're locked in there. So they're running through the house. Obviously, they see that the killer's going after them. So they're trying everything they can do to avoid the, you know, the triggers for the animatronics and everything. Well, eventually the killer catches up to him and he cuts Brooke's leg open. So obviously she's limping now. Taylor, she gets into a fight with him, but the killer takes his axe that he has and he busts her in the face with it. So now the killer is going after Brooke, and he's basically got her cornered. And there's these triggers that, like, open these doors. There's a clown, there's a vampire, and finally the last trigger opens. And instead of being anything scary, it is Natalie there to save the day. And she takes a knife and she stabs the killer right in the right in the chest. So now the police are finally there and they go in to look for the killer. But here's the thing. Killer's gone. So then we cut to a scene where Natalie and Brooke are sitting in an ambulance, you know, and the cop comes up to her and is like, well, I'm sorry, like, he's gone. There's nothing left I can do about it. So then after that, we cut to another scene and we see a guy walking into his house, right? Well, this guy takes off a mask and he puts it in this, like, casing with all these other masks that he has. And he has the pictures from the park that he stole from Gavin and Natalie. And he puts them right under his mask that he wore to Hellfest. And all of a sudden, he's walking into this house. And he always does this weird, like, humming. It's like, do-do-do-do-do-do-do, whenever he's going to kill somebody. But he walks in. And all of a sudden, there's this little girl sleeping on the couch, but she wakes up and she goes, Daddy! And that's how the movie ends. So, yeah. Me personally, I would love to see a sequel to this, but this came out in 2018, which I guess never say never, because Beetlejuice came out in, what, the 80s and the 90s, and it's getting a sequel now. So, yeah. Like I said, I'll give this movie a 7 out of 10. It was a decent movie. It had great kills. I love to call back to Michael Myers. I gave extra points for Tony Todd being in there, and also a couple extra points for having some awesome kills. So, yeah. Let me know what you guys think about this movie down in the comments below. Have you seen it? Have you not seen it? And let me know some other movies you guys want me to review. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Always remember to stay groovy, stay safe, keep your people safe. And remember, God is good all the time. It has been Justin, and I'm out. Peace.